Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
All right. We have a couple of questions for you tonight. Please tell us a little about yourself and your years in the ministry, sir.
So I came into the ministry when I was 17 years old. In high school, God healed me after 17 years of sickness. And we started crusading from there. When I left high school, I joined Maurice Arulo Evangelistic Association, the representative ministry in Nigeria. We had crusades all over, from Kaduna all the way to Port Harcourt, for 3.5 years. And then I remember I had prayed several years before and asked God to open a door for me to go and minister in India. So in 1979, he did that. So I left, and during that time when we were crusading, I also worked for Nigerian television. So we went to India, and there we ministered for 3.5 years. We founded a ministry called Christian Fellowship Group, and we had crusades all over northern India, all the way up to Jammu and Kashmir states bordering Pakistan. And then in 1983, that's when God sent me to America.
All right.
And so we've been at it a long time. For 20 years, we assisted major non-African American ministry in East Point, Georgia. And then 10 years ago was when we heard from God to start Resurrection House for All Nations.
I've been in ministry for about 23 years, but I did not have my first leadership appointment until 1997. And that was when the Lord was able to exhibit the gifts that I have.
I'm Pastor Mike, like you rightly introduced me to the audience. Mike Adebi is my name. I pastor Jubilee Christian Church International here in Atlanta, Stone Mountain, Georgia. It's a ministry with the headquarters in Africa, Nigeria, where I came from. And we have a few branches here in the United States, UK, Jamaica, South Africa, and some other parts of the world. It's a ministry that started about 14 years ago.
Praise God.
I came here by the special grace of God. God had started, and from here we started branching out to some other places.
In 1997, I was the president of the Men's Fellowship of the Sword of the Spirit Ministries, and with 3 principles that I've always believed in: strengthening yourself spiritually, strengthening the family, and meeting the needs of the church. I was able to help in the growth of the church, and that made a difference. And for every leadership appointment I found myself, I've practiced the 3, and it has always helped me.
I'm also involved in some outreach ministries and some charitable, work
Praise God.
within the country and outside the country.
Amen.
So that's basically what I do.
When I got to the US, I was able to practice the same. It was the first church that I was involved in and the second church, and it has worked well. After then, I pastored one of the churches in Atlanta, and I had challenges like pastors will normally have. That was what moved me to go back to school to study theology.
All right.
And in the process of studying, I was able to discover a whole lot of things that has helped me, even in ministry now. And I was able to discover my passion, and that has helped me a great deal in fulfilling what God has for me.
My name is Reverend Fred Oyimusa, the resident pastor of Trem, Atlanta, and the current vice president of Nigerian Ministers Fellowship. The past 4 years, by the grace of God, we've been able to accomplish a couple of things, among which is the hosting of Dr. Maurice Arulo.
My name is Pastor Beatrice Ezanabi, and I'm a co-pastor of Victory Covenant Ministries with my husband, Dennis Ezanabi, and my church is located in Powder Springs. As for my position with NMF, by the grace of God, I've served for 4 years. During my tenure, 2 things that happened was, one of them was the tournament, Pastor Chika tournament. And another thing that happened is the unity among the executives. Personally, it has been a blessing to serve.
My name is Pastor Bumi Olabi, the senior pastor of Kingdom Embassy Church in Austell, Georgia. For the past 4 years, I've been the General Secretary of the Nigerian Ministers Fellowship.
I'm Pastor David Along-Otoba from Solution Center Church for All People in Latonia, Georgia. And I've been privileged to be the Publicity Secretary of this great fellowship, Nigerian Ministers Fellowship, for the past 4 years. A tree doesn't make a forest, really. And I've been privileged to work with the best men and women that you can ever be opportune to work with. So as a PRO or Publicity Secretary, it is what they put together in-house that I tell the world. So my job is so simple. So they make my job very simple for me. So all I try to do is to tell the world about Nigerian Ministers Fellowship and bring the world back to Nigerian Ministers Fellowship. And I've been very, very privileged to do that with the help of every executives, both from the president and every one of them. So it's been a very successful, I believe, and an interesting 4 year, which I wish is not ending yet. I wish it's going to continue, but you know, nothing lasts forever, and we've been blessed to bring the Nigerian ministers together.
My job is kind of well-defined, you know, making sure that we get letters out to the public, to the pastors, as the case may be, and also I've been able to help to facilitate the invitation of Dr. Maurice Cerullo to Atlanta, Georgia. It's one of our, you know, passion and desire in the Nigerian Ministers Fellowship to bring revival to the land. And I mean, it was just by God's grace that we were part of those that were able to organize that program, and I believe it was a successful program that we had. Aside from that, we've been able to also do many other programs, you know, in the Nigerian Ministers Fellowship. At the issue of the Nigerian Independence Anniversary, we've been able to, you know, coordinate that, organize that on a yearly basis, and the attendance has been very, very encouraging. And you know, aside from that, also we have the, you know, the praise concert for Pastor Micah Dibiyi. You know, we have the you know, table tennis tournament for Pastor Chika Onuzo, also initiated in my tenure.
Now, we've been able to touch lives and bring the churches together, preparing us for what God brought us to do in this land.
Actually, the Nigerian Ministers Fellowship started from the desire of the then Consul General to celebrate the 40th anniversary independence celebration for Nigeria.
In 2001, Honorable Keshi, the then Consular General of Nigeria in Atlanta, made it possible for us to come together as Nigerian ministers.
He just felt that for the 40th, you know, anniversary of Nigeria, he felt that all Christians in Atlanta should just come together and have a joint worship service to mark the 40th anniversary. So he asked me if I can get in touch with other pastors and see how we can make that happen. And so that's exactly what I did. I got in touch with all the pastors that I know, and the pastors that I know got in touch with the pastors that they know. And you know, one thing led to the other. We found out that a lot of us came together. So we had a meeting at the Consul General's office, you know, to discuss the Independence celebration service, which was a very successful service.
So when we gathered, everybody came. There were pastors from all churches I didn't even know existed in Atlanta, Georgia. And in the process, we organized ourselves, and that was how Pastor Chika Onuzo was elected president.
Wow.
And then Pastor Adebi was I believe the secretary then. I was the vice president.
Wow.
I actually was not interested in any office, but we all got on well, very well.
I believe Pastor Mike Adebi was made the secretary, and that's how we started. And that it was a great and exciting time because Nigeria was turning 40. It was the first time pastors ever got together. And there was a lot of excitement. There were so many other auxiliary Nigerian groups that had formed in the city under the Honorable Joe Keshi at the time. So we had a blast. It was the greatest and the most celebrated Nigerian event in the city. We had this celebration at the World Congress Center. And I am sure, not exaggerating, at least 1,500 people attended the